Bitcoin hoodie guy coming back with another KASPA video. Can you please go ahead and Mike Tyson the like and subscribe button? All right. KASPA market down, KASPA under 16 cents, market down 2.3%. But today we're going to be talking about this post that Shai had 5 hours ago. The only necessary primitive for implementing smart contracts on L1 is a ZK opcode adapted to DAG. Its design is complete. You can see he was sharing Yonatan's tweet, which is actually a response to Max Darshi. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Dear KASPA fam, we're collectively clear about the path forward. From what I understand, the first priority of hashtag is to perfect the L1 10 blocks per second, then Dagnite protocol. The Shai calls it the endgame L1. So yeah, 10 blocks per second, maybe up to 100 blocks per second eventually. Work is ongoing in the background towards a revolutionary smart contract L2, but it won't have priority until the endgame L1 is finished. As a bridge before then, third-party protocol will be launched. As a bridge before then, third-party protocol like KRC20s will be launched. But Yonatan said, this is what Yonatan replied. He said, my main priority, L1 sequencing, Dagnite, and miscellaneous. Others ongoing efforts, smart contract L2 stack, opcode versus stack. The only necessary primitive for implementing smart contracts in L1 is a ZK opcode adapted to DAG. Its design is complete. This narrows primitive can take in principle a few months to implement. So this narrow primitive version could be potentially implemented in a few months, after which anyone can in principle launch their own based ZK rollup. In practice, it makes more sense to standardize and build a unified supporting stack. The heavy lifting here will be led by Crypto Aspect and others. KRC20 Casplex indeed third party and AFEC unrelated to generic smart contracts. Naval, I think KRC20 will be using, the Casplex is using partially signed Caspa transactions, just like Bitcoin's using partially signed Bitcoin transactions for ordinals. Novel smart contract design, the research not finalized, too early to enter concrete plans. So the novel smart contracts aren't anytime soon. Potentially, if someone wanted to do the opcode, ZK opcode, that is something that could happen sooner, the stack. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. You can see hash rate still just under 1 exahash. Binance still there at about 48 petahashes, number 5. Yesterday or a couple days ago, the Crypto Tips was talking about who owns BlackRock, and he's talked about this guy's video. He said he did his research. He's basically saying Warren Buffett owns it because Berkshire Hathaway owns Bank of America. Bank of America owns Merrill Lynch. Merrill Lynch owns 45%. But I'm not sure that's exactly true. So I'm going to go on a little rant real quick. I don't see anything that's completely conclusive. One, Warren Buffett only actually owns 16.4% of Berkshire Hathaway with 30% voting power. So he doesn't even have control. 70% of the voting power of Berkshire Hathaway is not even controlled by him. Here's this guy's video. It's loading up here for a second where he's talking about it. And so there's article also from 2011 talking about how BlackRock is buying out the Merrill Lynch shares held for $2.5 billion. So that was back in 2011. Right here, when you ask, does Merrill Lynch still own BlackRock? It says no. Now that doesn't mean anything. Here you can see that Berkshire Hathaway has trimmed their Bank of America positions to 11.4%. So that means Warren Buffett only has 30% voting power of Berkshire Hathaway, and that company only owns 11% of Bank of America. There's different websites trying to find out who the largest holders on BlackRock are. This one, sometimes they only list the top few, like Vanguard. Now, this website is more in depth. It shows how many shares Vanguard has, 13 million, BlackRock, 9.5 million, State Street, Bank of America. It goes on and on. There's 154. So what I did is I went through and I added them all up. Goes down to the smallest guy, Renaissance Technologies, that has 24K shares of BlackRock. And I added them all up. I put them into a spreadsheet, added them all up. And that was 105 million shares between all these people listed on this StockZoa website. And so you can see that BlackRock has only about 150 million outstanding shares, which would leave only 100 and would leave less than it'd leave about like 40 million shares out of 145 million shares, which is like less than 33%. So that would mean that there's no way they could own 45%. Now there is this other website here. Um, Wall Street Zen is where the guy was looking at it, where according to Wall Street Zen, it says Merrill Lynch is an insider holding 45%. But when you go to Stock Zoa and you look, and I don't know, retail might own 5 or 10% too. So there might only be 20% that's really not unaccounted for on this website showing all these institutions that have it. So it's just important to do your own research. That was a little side tangent. Hey, Leroy, thank you for tuning in. Thomas, appreciate it. Morning, Davey. So yeah, that's my rant about that, because that's what I'm just tired of. I mean, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. There's a lot about some technology I don't completely understand, but I never talk about how much research I do, because this guy was talking about how he did his research. He just didn't take what that guy said for, and basically, as far as I could tell, it's just the one website is basically where they got 45%, and there's other ones. So nothing's completely conclusive behind closed doors. We don't know what's going on, but Warren Buffett doesn't own BlackRock. Um, the things we do know is that you can see the M2 money supply going crazy. You can see that it went parabolic after COVID, pulled back, and they're going to get ready to print more money eventually. You can see that this is just a one-way street. United States spends more on its national debt now than defense. And you pop into the time machine, what they're projecting for the next election cycle, and it's 4 trillion on interest on the debt. I don't know how they're calculating that exactly. And you also go and look at the Clinton administration, the very end of that, because 2001 was kind of his last year, or I guess 2000 was the election. So 2021, I guess maybe the first year of Bush when he came into office. But that's the last time, those 4 years there is the last time the United States had a surplus. Since then, you can see they started the war, the forever war in Afghanistan, Iraq. You can see they started having more deficit than the 2008 financial crisis. They had to start printing more money. Then Obama started bringing that down a little bit. His whole 1.4 trillion to 1.2 trillion, 1.3, 1 trillion, 680 billion. So under Obama started slowly bringing it down. 2017, Trump comes in, 665 billion, 779 billion, 984 billion. So it actually, the deficit was increasing every year under Trump. And then obviously COVID, which 2020, his entire year was actually 2021. I mean, I don't know how they calculate if the fiscal year, the 2020 fiscal year, maybe goes into the when actually Biden was in office too. So it might have got some of the money that Trump printed and some of the money that Biden printed. But you can still see that even after COVID, the next year, 2021, 2.7 trillion, 1.3 trillion, 1.6, almost 1.7 trillion. I don't think it doesn't matter who's in office, that they're going to be running a deficit. And so that's going to drive people into digital assets with fixed supply. Win $1, got to be patient. I think best case scenario is that in September, in this month, it's already September 1st, when KRC 20s come out, if the market's down, then maybe that can push us in to the top 17 or something. And it doesn't look like smart contracts are happening anytime soon. I don't know if anyone's going to do the ZK opcode. And I don't know if that's something that Core Dev do or someone else can come on board, but you can still see we're hanging at 22. There's quite a bit of chicken left on the bone to get up to $1. So, and unless something really happens, it doesn't look like it's going to happen maybe this year, but it depends on if there's anything parabolic happening after the election, when Bitcoin kind of starts to go parabolic a little bit after the election, that time of the year. But I do see where, we could potentially get up to maybe 0.3% of a market dominance up here in that 16, 17 range. If the market's still down and we get KRC 20s and we get some excitement and hype, obviously there's a lot of catalysts, KRC20 is going to make it more profitable for miners, which you'll probably see more miners coming online. Kraken, maybe a Binance listing this cycle, maybe more. Eventually I think it'll be listed on all the exchanges. So a decentralized proof of work that's got a lot of going for it. There's no reason why it shouldn't be listed on everything. So it's exciting. We'll see how this shakes out. It looks like the main like novel smart contract design is not going to happen anytime soon. For some reason, if they wanted a more primitive ZK opcode, that's something that could potentially happen this cycle. Whether that's going to happen or not, and it looks like Yonatan's mainly, L1 sequencing and Dagnite and some other things is his main priority. SK, the smart contract L2 stack is what some other people working on. You can see KII. This is great news. So it's exciting. Start first. We're going to have Casplex KRC20. We want that to be successful. That could potentially launch us up into the top 20. Market could probably still be going down, maybe even this whole month. Maybe it's October before we really start get going. So we just got to be patient, know what you hold, do your own research. That just wasn't just, this is just one little aspect of that crypto tips video about BlackRock owning 45. We get that Bank of America owning 45% of BlackRock. As far as I can tell, it's not conclusive. I see a little bit more evidence that they don't, but you just got to do your own research, your own thinking, and that's it. Yep. Once we get a stable coin, we'll be golden. Yep. You can see that a lot of people think that it was more the stable coins is what made Solana really pop off rather than meme coins. And obviously you got Tron way up there, that's got Justin's son, who's shady, using like pulling money out of the Tron DAO without getting the vote approval. So that guy is super shady. Tron has a lot of that USDT on Tron, that stable coin. So a lot of people think the stable coins is what really pushed Tron and, Solana up to where they are right now. Obviously Solana had a good cycle last time, and there's a ton of meme coins on there, but so yeah, yep, stable coins would be game changers. So I haven't invested in Alephium or Cubic. I know some people have, but I'm not spreading my mine around very thick. I have some Cardano that's left over from what I was holding through the bear market, but besides that, Bitcoin, KASPA, and I have Dog Go to the Moon as my meme coin play. Couple NFTs, that's it. Last cycle in bear market, I was constantly trying to run around trying to find the next 1000x, 50x, and I feel pretty good with my positions right now. And so I'm not really looking to do a whole lot. It's going to come pretty quick. There's going to be a lot of stuff popping off in the, once the real parabolic part of the bull market, but I feel good with my bags. I don't want to be spread too thin. So I basically have like 4 or 5 projects. That's good for me. Hey, if someone wants to have 10 or 15, that's good. But yeah, I feel pretty good with my entry point into KASPA, maybe dollar cost average once in a while, but doing my research long term, I'm liking KASPA more and more. So, yep, that's all I got. Marshall said KASPA and Hoppy is my meme play. That's it for me. Nice, Marshall. So for me, there's times that, and I look back since, I first got into crypto in 2017. We were buying a house, so I didn't have a lot of money, but I got Bitcoin was $2,500, and I just made a few $100 on it, selling it later that year, $15,000. And then I kind of got back into it a little bit, but then it was really Dogecoin was when I really jumped back into it in 2021. Since then, I bought so many NFTs, so many different wallets I've used, and so many crazy projects, degen plays, blue chips, this and that. And for me, having a more narrow focus is better for me. But, there's a lot of gains out there. So, more, and there's especially here, you don't, there's going to be a lot of stuff popping off. And each one of these, you can see there's a big VeChain community, Injective. I remember hearing about Injective, and I listened to the guys, podcast, and that was when it was super cheap. And I was like, man, I should get some Injective, but I never did. And then it popped off. So Dog with Hats got its own community, man. Look at there's so many options. So I think that for me personally, about 5 or 10 is about as maximum for that someone should be going with, but that's just my personal opinion. I think if you get too many spread through, then it's hard keeping track of all of them. And I'm also looking at things that I want to hold beyond this cycle and what I'll, basically sell off next year. But yeah, there's a lot of different options out there. Go KASPA best of all 50 cent. So, yep, that's all I got for today. You can see I put a link to basically everything I talked about in here, a bunch of this stuff, even about the BlackRock ownership. But, and I mainly just want to talk about that since I took the time to do the spreadsheet. I feel like I didn't want to waste all that time. But will be interesting. I don't know. It doesn't feel like smart contracts will really come this cycle. That still feels like it'd be something that could happen in the next bear market or the next cycle. But we're going to get KRC 20s and maybe some, uh, ZK opcode happens to come out if it's something that could be implemented in principle in a few months. I don't know, but I think it's going to be more of a next cycle, and we're going to be looking at KRC 20 partially signed KASPA transactions for kind of what's going to happen this year, next, this cycle. So that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Stay bullish and have a good day.